What's going on, people? How are we all? And thank you for clicking this video. I'm hoping you're here for From the Gamers episode 2. It is happening. Don't stress. One thing I wanted to say is, for some reason, the beginning of the video was corrupt when I tried to edit it. So for the first 8 minutes of this video, it will be audio only. And then after that, myself, Richard, and Kresh will be on camera for those who want to see us. Apologise for the mistakes. Don't know what happened. It was something I couldn't back up, so there was nothing I could do about it. But until then, enjoy the show. What's going on, guys? I am MC Fixer, and welcome back to episode 2 of From the Gamers. I am one of your hosts. How are you all doing? I hope everybody is well. And back once again. Kresh, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing
How did you get on 2 weeks in a row? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. I bribed somebody.
I mean,
don't tell the host, but
it's just because we talk.
It was me.
That's all.
Yeah.
And special guest this week, because Kresh isn't that special. Richard Wood.
Hello.
How are you? How are you?
Good, thank you. Doing well. Excited to be here.
So,
Episode 2 of this show.
It's kind of strange. I've been talking to Kresh for many years now, but I've actually met you, Richard.
You have, yeah. It was a letdown.
So
I'm better on Twitter.
You're funnier on Twitter.
Yeah, I am, yeah. For sure.
No. Thank you for reaching out and wanting to be on the show. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, man. I'm excited to be here. Talk some video games, some news. It's going to be good, man. It's going to be good.
Damn straight. So, straight off the bat, we already know Kresh and I's personal platform. What's yours?
PC.
Where would you say
Easy
PC?
peasy. Easy peasy. Yeah.
Okay.
I appreciate that you said PC on episode 1. You know?
I did. Because the only reason I said PC, and obviously I'm an Xbox guy, I love consoles, but if I had to pick one platform,
Yeah,
it would
PC.
be PC.
Of course, man.
Yes.
Makes sense.
But
More variety.
But, you know, I think, more variety, more options. I mean, it doesn't take away a controller.
Exactly.
You can
get
just
that
play with
sweet
a
Elite controller. Xbox Game Pass still on PC. No
It's
brainer.
Still there.
No
It's
brainer.
still there. You're right. I may not like the fact that you're a PC master racer, but it's the facts. It's the facts.
It is the facts.
So let's get into housekeeping. Remember, guys, you can get the show early if you head over to patreon.com/mcfixer. Go subscribe to the YouTube channels, youtube.com/mcfixer. Richard, you got a YouTube channel?
No, I don't know.
Cool. I ain't got to plug that. Kresh, you sure
don't.
as hell haven't. But I'll plug you a bit later. You're fine.
Okay.
Also, go and find us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and of course, Spotify. The housekeeping part really here is go and leave a 5-star review and a comment so we can chart. That's how we got my Xbox and me charted. That's how we will get this charted. And keep on sharing. I appreciate everyone that reached out. I had so many people reach out on Twitter, which was kind of overwhelming. I was like, oh, okay, people actually want to be on. People actually care. If you don't know, this is our community-based podcast. The whole reason I started this podcast was for people to get on and talk games. Maybe you've not been on a podcast before. Maybe you don't know how podcasts go. You don't know how to set up your own. You can't be bothered to set up your own. I've done all the hard work. Just drop me a message on Twitter @MCFixer or an email at fromthegamers@gmail.com and we can get you on the show and talk some video games. So, let's get into the fan emails this week. Oh, wait, we haven't got any. Richard, where was you? God.
I posted it. You know,
I mean,
Christmas delivery. You know,
still
UK
waiting for it
post
to come.
service. Yeah, exactly.
We can just go straight into the topic of the show this week. The big one, as I like to call it. Cool. And we did get one email in from my friend Aldozo. And it says, what is your favourite game from a particular console or gaming era and why? Sent in from Aldozo from the Gamers email. So like I said, guys, if you want your topics on the show or you want to put in some questions, comments, concerns, say why the hell was Kresh here 2 weeks in a row, go to fromthegamers@gmail.com. Richard, let's start with you.
Oh no. Right.
I can go first, but my story's so tired that it's boring. Like I've got 2 stories that are definite ones that everyone's heard before, but maybe we've got a new audience here, so I will tell them again. And I've got a few little sprinkles I can add in. There's like 3 games that define me, which is pretty easy. Chris, do you know yours off the top of your head?
I know my one actually. Yeah.
Okay, go, Rich. Let's start with you. What you got?
I'll go. So mine's an older one. You may not have heard of it. It's called Ultima Online. It was a PC MMO a long time ago. I'd played games before that. I'd kind of dabbled here and there, but that was the one that was like, I'm up all night. I'm up in the morning before school. That was it. You know, I was hooked from that moment onwards.
I remember those moments waking up before school to play games. And you're like, your mum's like, "Why are you awake so early?" Like, "Oh, I was just awake early, mum. I swear."
Excited for school.
Yeah, I'm just studying. I'm doing homework. Yeah. Well, we had to as well. We had free serve internet back in the day, and it was timed, so it came on between certain times. But but there was a weird, not a hack, but a weird thing you could do if you change your computer clock. It didn't realize. So I wake up in the morning, change the clock backwards, get that hour of playtime. It was great, man. And it's the game that got me hooked on gaming, got me really into the culture, got me into forums, communities, and eventually into game dev as well. So that's my
I was going to bring that up. You are a game dev. You work in the industry, which is why I try and tell people. I love it when we do My Xbox and Me and we have hosts on, and people that listen to My Xbox and Me, I'm always like, be careful. Game devs do listen to my shows. I'm not saying you do, but I know I know a few game devs out there that I'm like, developers listen to this, and like, you want to work your way in the industry or whatever it is. Don't start peeing people off. That doesn't work. Trust me, the word spreads fast, especially when you work with a big black guy. There's not many of us around, all right? So if you get known to work with me, you're in trouble. I'm not going to lie to you.
I'm fired already. It's over for me. My career's
You're in
done.
trouble for just being here. So how old was you roughly when you started playing and when you got sucked in?
Oh my goodness. I must have been start of high school, so maybe like 13, 14. I remember the game. I think I got the game for $1.99 from a game store. But it was I think it was the first ever game perhaps to have a sub. So you pay $9.99 a month.
Right.
So this was this must have been, let me see, 17 years ago, roughly. Yeah. But back then that was like a scary thing. Like, you did not put your card details online. So convincing my mom,
someone's gonna rob your identity.
Yeah, exactly. So convince my parents to let me, pay for this game monthly was super hard. So actually, what I did was I bought the game like 5 times. I kept starting again to get the 30 days free.
Right.
I did it with WoW. So I paid $1.99 like 4 or 5 times, and then eventually they were like, you know what? He's at home. He's being good. He's not out drinking. Whatever.
Yeah.
We'll pay this sub for him. And then 12 years later, I was still playing it. So paying my £10 a month.
Damn. Yeah, now you sound like you got supportive parents.
Yeah, I do. I must admit, I'm very, very fortunate.
That sounds awesome. I wish my mum was. My mum was like, go outside. I'm like, yeah, whatever. She's like, I'm like, I already play football once a week. That's enough, all right? I'm going to play video games for the rest of it. But yeah, she didn't get it. But that's dope. That's actually amazing, to be honest with you. It's like, the fact that your mum and dad were like, yeah, you know what? You've shown your commitment to this. We can trust you. You're doing well, obviously, in school, I would assume. Like... That's cool, let's do it. You're like, I was there.
I was doing fine.
Good enough.
I was doing fine. Yeah, I was passing. Sadly, my dad worked at my school, so I had to do well, or he would know every single day. So,
Oh, that's brilliant. That's going to be like our kid. Obviously, my fiance is a teacher, and I'm hoping to get our kid into the same school, so I don't have to take it to school. Like, just go with your mum. It's easier that way.
Yeah, it is.
Obviously, Haley was saying the other day, she's like, if that happens, though, I'm going to know everything. And I'm like, exactly. He's going to be good. He or she's going to be good as gold. It's going to be brilliant.
Or very sneaky.
I mean, just like me. So it probably will happen.
Yeah.
It'll probably happen. Kresh, you got one that comes to the top of your head? The game that sort of got you in this was it? This was what made video games a thing for you?
RuneScape.
Oh, RuneScape. Nice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very similar.
Yeah, okay. I remember spending days, similar to Richard. Like, I'd wake up, I'd play RuneScape, I'd come home from school, I played RuneScape, leveling up, and then RuneScape was interesting because you had the economy that wasn't game-based, it was player-based. Yeah. People would try and scam you, people would be like, oh, let me make your armor gilded, let me add gold to it or whatever, and they'd run away with your armor when you gave it to them, and the money that you paid them for it, so, yeah. So, I don't know, I spent so much time in that game. Never became a member until way later. Yeah. My parents didn't roll that way.
Your parents were like, nah.
Yeah. It's free? Oh yeah, okay, keep playing for free. I don't care, you get the other features.
It was like, yo, we don't care, like, play. Here you go, get on with it, kid. We're not putting up with this. No way, we're not putting up with this.
Yeah, nah.
So what was it about RuneScape that like dragged you in? Obviously the economy, I get that. Was it the openness of that game? Because that game was actually... I remember playing it in secondary school for the first time. I didn't have a PC back then. That wasn't my shtick. But I remember being like, oh, okay, this is actually quite cool playing at school. This is actually really interesting. Like, what was that? What dragged you in?
Yeah, it was like, okay, today I'm gonna get on. I'm gonna work on my mining a little bit. I'm gonna get some stuff. I'm gonna sell it. I want to work towards this specific item, and the game constantly had something you could work towards. I want to do this quest. I'm gonna need these items to finish this quest. I'm gonna do this, and you were constantly working towards something, and I really, really loved that about that game.
Interesting. All right, well, mine's pretty easy and obvious. The game that defined me, obviously, was Resident Evil 2. I've told the story so many times, but the moment that my granddad's always been a gamer, so I used to watch him play video games very often. My uncle was a gamer. Like, a lot of people around me play games, and my dad always worked in the technology section at Dixon's, so I was always around video games. And my dad ended up owning he owns his own game shop now and stuff like that. But
Nice.
For me, I was just like, I remember playing Resident Evil 1 and being like, oh, this is really cool, I like it, I like video games. But the one when I started playing Resident Evil 2, and the moment when you get to the lockers and there's 2 items there, it's the bag and it's the machine gun, and it's like, you take one, it's like, oh, better leave one for Claire, and you're like, what do you mean leave one for Claire? That doesn't make sense. It's a video game, so I'm just gonna load up my game. And I remember going back playing it as Claire and being like, finding just the machine gun, because I remember taking the bag like I always do when I play that game, and being like, oh my god, this gun. There's more going on in this world that, don't get me wrong, I have done, but it's adapted in a way that I had never experienced before, and it just blew my mind. I was just like, oh my god, this is crazy. So I remember at a young age that being like mind-blowing for me. Then the other one I always come back to is Metal Gear Solid 2, which is Sons of Liberty, which is the moment when the colonel tells you to save your game and turn it off when you're about to fight Metal Gear. And I was like, I remember playing it. I used to have friends watch me play games, which I'm sure we all have, but I was a real slimy son of a gun, and I was a fat kid. Still am a fat guy. I used to make my friends bring me biscuits to watch me play video games. That's a true story. I had 2 friends called Aaron and Daniel, and their mum and dad had the best biscuit barrel on earth. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It was ridiculous. And I used to make them sneak biscuits into my house to give me, and then I'd let them watch me play Metal Gear Solid. That's a true story.
You'd let them watch you so they couldn't even play.
Yeah.
What are they going to play for? They're not as good as me.
That cost more, man. That was biscuits and juice.
They had the game.
Gotcha.
They didn't want to watch. They didn't want to play. They wanted to watch a pro at it, which I definitely wasn't. I'm still terrible at stealth now. But I remember the moment the colonel phones you. He says, I can't remember his exact words, but it's something along the lines of, you've been playing for too long. You need to save the game. You need to turn it off. So I did. I literally did that and turned off my PlayStation. And I remember sort of turning it off and going, what am I doing? I don't know. What am I doing now? And I went downstairs and I did whatever I did, and then I come back and carried on playing, and obviously see how that plays out. But I remember going back to that memory now, obviously not now, but a few years on, and being like, a video game told me to turn it off because I'd been playing too long. And like, obviously there's a whole script there, but I was just like, wow, that's amazing that could even happen. And I hadn't played, at that time, I hadn't played Metal Gear Solid, so I didn't see the whole Psychomantis, memory card swapping and all that stuff. I didn't know about any of that. So this was like my first moment of like, wow, this is ridiculous. I can't think of any others off the top of my head. Streets of Rage is obviously one that's near and dear to my heart on the Sega Mega Drive. I think that was the first video game probably that I remember playing. I remember owning a Game Boy. It was like my first handheld console I ever had. But and I'm sure I had Tetris and Mario. I'm pretty sure my mum used to play Tetris on it, so I remember that much. But I remember Streets of Rage being like the first cartridge I had, putting that bad boy in and playing that for ages. And I used to have it on the Mega Drive. They had this cartridge had 3 different games on it, if you remember rightly. In the UK anyway, which I'm pretty sure one was like Bejeweled, Streets of Rage, and then there was another game on it. Those games were trash to me, but Streets of Rage, that was the one. That was the one. If you were like, that's how much I remember it. So yeah, those are some. So you got any other memories of like games that may have kept helping you build on this love, Crash? You got anything else that sort of sticks to your head?
Gears of War 3, very much so. That was, I have so many like fond memories of that game, and I put hours into that. Was like once I stopped playing RuneScape, Gears of War replaced that, where it was like come home, play Gears of War.
Yeah,
I remember repeat.
The funny thing you're saying that, I remember I used to have a big TV before flat screens were a thing. I didn't have one anyway. I'm sure other people did. I wasn't rich. Still am not. Patreon.com/MCFixer. Can't miss a good plug. But yeah, I remember having like a big TV, and I actually had to bring this TV downstairs to play Gears of War online because my internet box was downstairs. So it's a hardwire in. I had to go downstairs, and I said to my mom, "Can I just get a wireless dongle for my 360?" She was like, "Hell no!" I was like, "Can I bring the TV and Xbox downstairs?" And she was like, "I guess." I'm like, "All right, cool." So I used to put it on our dinner table and play it there, and just be like, "Oh my god, I'm playing against kids in China." I remember the funny thing was Pro Evolution Soccer, obviously football game, and I remember like telling my mum I'm playing against some guy in Germany because it used to come up with the flags of where people were from.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, my mum was like, "You're doing what?" And she was like, "Are you talking to these people?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've got my mic on." Obviously, you got your old 360 mic on.
Yeah.
You can hear yourself breathing in it, like, "Oh yeah, this was the good old days." But yeah, that Gears of War to me was a ridiculous game. The online for that blew my mind.
Yeah.
Just ridiculous. What about Gears of War 3 was so special?
I don't know. I think it just came at like I think it just came at the right time for me, where it was probably the first multiplayer game that I really, really like dove into. Like RuneScape was online and I was playing with other people, but it wasn't really competitive in that nature where I had to like learn how to wall bounce and all that stuff. And that really, really like brought me into Gears of War 3.
Interesting. Richard, anything else that you can think of?
Firstly, Gears was great, by the way. I didn't play much multiplayer, but I loved playing the campaigns. What was the hardest mode called? It wasn't like a...
Insane.
Insane. Yeah, I played it with a buddy of mine, and we do it co-op, and man, it's such a great game. Such a great game. I remember one summer being hooked on CS Source, Counter-Strike Source. Just for one random summer. I don't know why. I would come home, someone would crash in Gears of War, and I would just play it every single night. And then, like that, it was gone. I've never gone back since, but for 3 months, I got onto a dedicated server with some guys who were really good at the game, and I was terrible, but I saw myself progressing every night, getting better and better. And when I killed one of the good guys, I was like, I killed that guy. I killed that guy. You know, because there was names I was recognizing, and that was pretty addictive. So that was one. Obviously multiplayer again, but one non-multiplayer one is Oblivion, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it was one of the first proper open world RPGs that I'd played. I'd played some in the past, but mostly like MMOs. And that one really clicked with me. I don't know what it was. The opening where you kind of leave the prison and it's Patrick Stewart talking to you, I thought was super cool. And I was one of the few games that I'd actually got 1,000 gamer score in, which was pretty nice.
I mean, that'd been a hard one as well to get 1,000 G on.
Very long.
That wasn't easy. I remember being a achievement whore, which me and my brother used to call each other. My brother used to be a gamer as well, and he's fell out of it now. But I remember us going back and forth, just like staying up. I remember one time going to bed, and I went to bed we went to bed at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I woke up and he's still playing, just to grind out achievements. We were playing like Rockstar's table tennis.
Oh, what a game as well.
Sorry, and I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, there's this achievement. It's worth like 100 G. I'm like, oh my god, dude, what are you doing? Like, you're taking this too serious. It's ridiculous.
I played King Kong, to get my 1,000 gamer score.
Yeah.
Peter Jackson's King Kong, terrible game. 1,000 gamer score. Worth it.
King Kong sticks to mind, definitely. What else was there?
There was that Avatar Airbender game where it was like, you can get 1,000 gamer score in, I think it was literally 5 minutes. It was like, if you do a combo, that was pretty good.
I did that. I went to Game Station. If anyone remembers Game Station in the UK, if you're listening. Went to Game Station, bought the game, said to them, I'll be back in an hour. And they said, what? Went and did the 1,000 G, come back and return the game.
Gotta do it, man. Those points were real
like
valuable.
5 minutes. Literally, I don't think it was even that long. Just spam B, and you got 1,000 G. I was like, yep, I'll take it. Chris, was you ever into achievements?
Not really. I was into trophies on the PlayStation for a bit, but I didn't go out of my way to get games that had like easy trophies. I just tried to get all the trophies in the games I were playing. Yeah, that I was interested in, but I didn't go that hard.
Interesting. Yeah, you wasn't a whore like me. I was out there. All right, let's move on. Unless anybody's got anything else they want to bring up.
No, man.
No. Well, what we've been playing, before we jump into the news, let's talk about what we've been playing. Me and Chris is probably going to be pretty similar, but I know he's been playing a few little bits. I've been playing a ton of Fortnite. No surprise.
I'm shocked.
I'm sure Richard's face just dropped. He's like,
shocked.
That isn't PUBG. How dare you?
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been playing more and more Fortnite. I'm actually getting better. I wouldn't say good. I think that would be a stretch too far.
Yeah.
But as I'm sure Chris agrees, but I'm getting better at the game. I finally learned somewhat how to build, which is not even true really. It's just I sort of spam the buttons now, and it stops me from dying, as Chris likes to point out when I'm streaming.
Yeah. He builds a little bit too much now, where he'll just spam buildings everywhere. Like, it won't make sense. There'll be stairs over here, a wall over here.
It's been Minecraft.
You know?
Pretty much. Pretty much. I'm just trying not to die, is pretty much my thing. I still can't seem to build up and over people, but I can sort of defend myself as they do it to me, and then I can sort of work my way around to jump on their building and then try and fight. But they still always got the height advantage on me, which is really annoying. But yeah, that's all I've been playing lately. That and marbles, as people will tell you on my stream.
Yeah.
Which I don't really count as a game, but jeez, they love it. They love it. Crash, what have you been playing?
Still been playing more Smash.
Okay,
Yeah, every day, a little bit. I've been practicing the short hops. Probably not really. You don't care about it, but
I mean,
you know,
do I care? Hell no. Do people care? I'm sure there's someone that cares, so please feel free. Feel free to talk about it. What is short hops for people?
Short hops, so if you push the jump button normally, you'll jump a full length jump. If you press it really, really quickly, you'll do a shorter jump.
Oh, okay.
Which is good to get jumping attacks low to the ground, so that you can attack somebody while they're on the ground with a jumping attack.
Oh, yeah.
So I've been trying to get that perfectly.
But you love fighting games, so
yeah.
How is this measuring up to other fighting games that you're playing? Obviously, Smash is so unique as a fighting game anyway, because some people consider it a fighting game, some people don't.
Right.
I think it is, if I'm being honest. But
yeah, before this one, I think I would have had the argument that it's more of a brawler than a fighting game.
Okay.
But that's because I never really took the time to learn Smash. Now that I am, I can see where people say it is a fight, and it's definitely on its base level, it's a fighting game, right? It's just more so, is it a fighting game in terms of, in fighting games you normally have a neutral of how are you going to block? Are you going to block low or high? Yeah. And somebody has overhead attacks, low attacks. There's all this meta game, and I never understood that Smash really had that. I got it on a base level because clearly there's competitive Smash and everything like that, but I never understood how deep it was until I'm starting to learn it now.
Got ya. So you sort of have a new appreciation for it, I guess.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
How many characters you at unlocked now?
I have them all.
Oh, you got them all now?
Yeah.
Hey, congratulations.
Yeah,
I'm still just sitting there I'll get to that when I get to it.
Eventually, right.
Do you have a main, Crash?
Yeah, Cloud. People are going to hate me for that, but Cloud, yeah.
Okay, nice.
My main's Kirby, so you're all
Kirby,
good.
okay.
Everyone hates Kirby. What about you, Richard? What's your main?
I don't play it. No, it's just I played it once.
I don't play.
Yeah, no, I ain't PUBG. I don't play. No, honestly, fighting games is the only genre I don't really dabble in. It's never really been my thing. I think everything else I kind of jump in and out of, but fighting games don't really grab me because I'm terrible at them, and therefore I don't want to play them.
That's literally me. But the only fighting game I really play is Smash because it's so much of. You can get lucky in Smash, I feel like. Obviously not against pros and stuff, but if you're playing casually, which I expect to be against other people, which when we play online and stuff, it's cool. And I only play with items on and not stock. Because to me, I understand, don't get me wrong, I understand the purists. I understand people that want to play free stock, no time limit and no items. I get it. It shows how skillful you are. But to me, that just isn't fun because I'm not skillful at that game at all.
Gotcha.
Because number one, because I don't put the time in to try and be skillful at it, and I just don't want to. I find it more fun to throw a Pokeball at your head, and I don't know what Pokemon's going to pop out, and then it's a Charmander or a Charizard, and he burns you up. That's more fun than punch, low kick, sword swipe. Nah.
Got you.
Pokeballs. I like to play with just Pokeballs on, honestly. I think that's the most fun. Just everyone throwing Pokeballs and the screen goes crazy. That's what I'm talking about. Richard, what have you been playing?
Oh man, so much. So I was off for 2 weeks over Christmas break. So I'll be fast on some of them. So I finished Gears of War 4 actually from Game Pass.
Nice.
I was kind of let down a little bit. I thought the mechanics were super good. It's been a solid Gears of War game, but I don't want to spoil it too much. With the story, it felt a little bit.
It's been a while. I think you're all right.
You think I'm fine?
Yeah.
I was a little bit sad that it was just like, oh, the locusts are back. You know, I was hoping there'd be something a bit different. I think the first 5 minutes of the game, they do a flashback to a very long time ago, and it's like they're doing like a war with other humans. So I thought it was going to be locusts are dead, and now there's like infighting, you know, kind of civil war.
Interesting.
But it kind of changed to more the locusts are back. But gameplay wise, it was great. You know, it's still a solid and fun game. So played through that. Played it on the second lowest difficulty. It's more of a kind of, you know, chill out, blast through it, but it was fun.
100%. Did you play it on your own or did you play it co-op?
Played on my own actually.
Oh,
played
interesting.
Yeah,
I haven't played a solo Gears of War game since 1, I think.
Yeah, it's my first time playing it solo.
How was that?
It's fine, honestly. It's a lot better this time around, I think. If you get knocked down, the AI pick you up. There's quite a long grace period. And if the AI go down, they don't die right away and fail you. There's kind of like a bit of
It's always nice.
Yeah.
That was the worst on Insane, playing it and someone just getting blown up by a boom shot. You're like, no!
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I that's better. But no, overall it was fine. I just hoped for something slightly different in the story. So I played that. It's all Game Pass stuff. Then I played Sniper Elite 4. Like I'm like halfway through that now. Yeah, it's my first ever Sniper Elite game. Similar to you, I'm terrible at stealth games, but now and again it's fun, right? It's a challenge. I don't know.
You're better than me.
I don't know.
Crash.
Yeah,
they should call me Fixer, not Stealth Spearman.
All right,
because,
like,
dude, I don't
there's
even understand what stealth is. Like,
if there's an option to not use stealth, and even if it's like not the recommended option, like it'll make it 10 times more difficult for you. Fix isn't going in stealth, because if Fix does stealth, he'll lose a lot quicker than if he doesn't.
Honestly, I'm awful. I'm not even like the only game I'm good at. I say good at. I think the only game that lets me be bad at it is Metal Gear Solid, the old games, not the new one. Again, I couldn't finish 5 because it was that was too much for me. But sorry, carry on.
No, so I played that, thoroughly enjoying it. Again, we're more of a casual, sit on the couch kind of game. But obviously a little bit of PUBG, still playing that here and there.
PC,
way less than normal.
Obviously.
Yeah, PC, yeah. I tried it on Xbox. It's way harder because the controls are insane. So it's actually harder on Xbox. So if you're playing on Xbox, you know, good job. You're better than me. So a little bit of that here and there. But the game that's hooked me right now is actually Sea of Thieves.
You're the second person to say that to me today.
I'm into
Honestly,
it, yeah.
I did my Xbox and me earlier today, and my co-host Amy was on, Amy Alexander, and she was saying that she jumped back in, and there's a whole load of new changes.
Yeah.
The world still seems a bit empty.
A little bit, yeah.
There's a lot of content there now.
Yeah.
Or more content, anyway. What's drawn you back in? Or did you ever fall out?
No, it's my first time playing it, actually. Yeah. So I got a new PC recently. It's on Game Pass, so I thought let's give it a shot on my PC. Super easy. Game Pass and PC works really well together. Kind of hopped in with a buddy of mine, and it's just fun. You know, it's a fun game to play with a friend. Playing it solo, I think would be. It's possible, but I think it'd be kind of boring, to be honest with you. Also, you can play with randoms, and that's okay if you get the right crew. But honestly, man, chilling with a friend on the high seas, kind of like sailing towards islands, getting treasure, and seeing sails in the distance, knowing that they can probably kill you because they're better than you. And, you know, that rush is there, right? Because it's like early days PUBG and Fortnite, where seeing someone gives you that adrenaline hit. And you have to decide, do I go towards them and try and get their loot, or do I sail as fast as I can away? And then you keep getting into these not high-speed chases, these very slow, on-the-wave chases. And then because there's open mic, kids are shouting at you, telling you they're going to kill you. It's just funny, honestly. It's just it's a fun game. Whether I play it long-term, probably not. But it's a good little game with friends in the short term.
That's the one thing I hate about playing on console, is open mic not being a thing. I'll be honest with you. And to be fair, I don't help myself in the situation. I don't have a mic and stuff like that. There's things out there to improve my experience on console, but I do miss that when I do play on PC. It's just playing Rainbow on PC and Call Out. It's just like push, talk, or I'm back away. Now I'm back in my little hideout again. I feel I do miss that on console. I wish that was a thing, but maybe with the keyboard and mouse support, they'll make it more of a thing.
I don't know if people really, like, console players themselves really do it too often.
They don't.
Because it's there for people to do, but it's also more looked down upon in the console People are like, oh, why is this person even talking to me and giving me call outs? Who is he?
Yeah,
like,
who is that?
Exactly.
It's strange though, because on Sea of Thieves Xbox, it's on by default. So every Xbox player is on broadcast by default. So I hear them coming, and I'm like, that's an Xbox player. I've got this. I've got a mouse and keyboard. You know, this is an easy kill. So it's on by default. Frames. Yeah. So, but it's a fun game, honestly, and the water looks amazing. Is it like visually? It looks so beautiful. So
again, that game, I've never had problems with the way that game looks. I've never had the art style. All of that is, to me, is fine. Is brilliant. I think they did a great job with that. My whole problem is the boringness to me of, there's a chest over there. Go get that chest. Cool. Yeah. I don't even mind the C part of the game. It's when I get to the chest and it's fight skeleton, pick up chest, go.
That's still the same.
That was it. That was all the game was at launch when we were playing it. There was, even the Kraken wasn't there when we were playing it. It got there eventually. Was the Kraken there?
Kraken was there.
No,
Kraken
it was shark. There's a new shark in there.
Yeah.
That's not there. It wasn't there when we played it. So there was just little bits that unfortunately weren't there when we played. I don't think I'm ever gonna go back.
Yeah, that game when I first played it just left a really salty taste in my mouth. So that even if I wanted to go back to it, I don't think I'd really have the will to.
And the crazy thing is, I feel like it was, I don't know about you, Chris, but for me it was, I brought that game up too much in my own head of what it would be. I built it up and was like, this is going to be the next big thing, and I'm going to play this all day long. And I played it for 2 days, and I was like, no.
Yeah. Funny thing is, I remember talking to you, and you, like, we tried pulling it down. We tried, like, oh, no, it'll be whatever. But you can't help sometimes. You just can't help it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a Rare game. A Rare was back, and still a beautiful game, and people that enjoy it, more power to you.
100%.
I just couldn't get into it, which is a shame. Anything else? Sounds like you've been playing a ton of Game Pass stuff.
So that, and then the last one, actually it's purely a Steam game, is Dead by Daylight on PC. So I played a lot at the start of 2018 with some friends. It's like a 4v1 game. Yeah. So we played as survivors trying to escape the killer. But now I play it more solo, and I play as the killer, which is really satisfying. Just hunting some people down, and killing them.
It looks amazing. Honestly, I as someone who bought Friday the 13th,
yeah, so did I.
Good call.
It might be the biggest mistake I ever did.
Yeah, I didn't
in video games. Actually, Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs is definitely the biggest mistake of my career.
Watch Dogs 1 or 2?
Watch Dogs 1. I boycotted it. I won't play 2. Even I've heard so many good things about 2, but I boycotted it strictly because of 1. I was like, I'm never playing this series again. Wow. Done.
2's a lot better than 1.
2's good, man. I actually enjoyed it.
Fudge. I'm not doing it. I'm not going back. They robbed me of £50. I remember sending Haley out to get the game for me. She drives, I don't. And was like, can you go get me Watch Dogs? And the guy in game sold her the game for like the special edition as well stuff. Like upsold her. And I was like, actually come back. It was like, oh, it cost, I think it was like £75 or whatever. I was like, what? I was like, the game's £50. What are you talking about in game? Obviously, they love to overcharge. That's before I had Amazon Prime. And I was like, what? So she come, and that automatically turned me off. And then the game weren't that great, and I was just like, never again. I will never play Watch Dogs again. They even, to be fair, shout out to Ubisoft, they even sent me Watch Dogs 2, and I still was like, nope, I don't care. Man. It's not about the money. It was about principles. I've still got that disc somewhere. Someone can have it, I swear. So, yeah. Chris, you been playing anything else apart from Smash?
Kingdom Hearts 2. I started replaying that recently. Yeah. I think I'm done with my playthrough.
So
Kingdom Hearts 3 is so I beat the Beast World.
Okay, that's when I fell asleep watching you.
I was somewhere in Olympus. The thing is, like, I replayed this not even a year ago, so none of this is like nostalgia to me. None of this like, oh, I remember this boss. It's like this boss again. He has 2 phases. Yeah. This is what I should do to beat him.
It's too fresh.
And Kingdom Hearts 3 is so close that I just don't want to burn out on it. So I might start Dream Drop Distance, which I haven't played since it originally came out, since I beat it the first time. So I might do that, see how that goes.
So how many days have I got to finish Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2
now? You have 22 days.
20, easy.
20, you got it. No problem. Easy. Yeah.
His face says otherwise. So I started playing Kingdom Hearts, as most of my stream knows, and I just couldn't. I couldn't stomach that first game. The controls. People say Resident Evil controls are bad, but oh my goodness.
Resident Evil controls are worse. 100% worse. Yeah.
Richard, you ever played?
They aged better, but they're not.
No, I didn't play Kingdom Hearts. It was not my game. I could tell the minute I saw the cast. I was like, no, thank you.
The world and what they've built there, which from what I've played, is amazing. And I love the. It's a Disney World, but there's another story going on in there, and the aspect of the story of the game, amazing. I love it. The art, I love it. The game itself isn't that good.
About it. No, the first one. The first one aged horribly.
Yeah,
the first one aged horribly.
That's the one I was playing.
Kingdom Hearts fans will get mad when you say aged horribly. I'm a huge Kingdom Hearts fan. The first one, I told you to skip it when you asked, when you're like, should I play it? I told Fix to skip it. It does not play well, especially for someone who's playing it for the first time. Like, I can play it because I have nostalgia with it, right?
Same for me.
It's like, I remember, exactly. It's like, oh, I remember this. I remember this boss. I remember this. It controls really bad. It does not play good at all.
Was it
and
PS2?
A lot of the mechanics... Yes, it was early PS2, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and so like, should have skipped it. Should have went right to 2.
There's still time. I can go to 2 now and play it. I've got a little bit of time left. I could probably beat it in 2 weekends, and then Resident Evil will be here. Yeah, like full weekends. I'm looking like a start early, finish late type situation.
It's like 28 hours.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I might just watch. Someone's got to put up a Kingdom Hearts in 5 minutes, right? That'll get me through the story I need to know.
The shortest video I saw that explains the story is like half an hour.
Oh my god.
It's 28 hours.
Are you kidding me? How hard
There's
can it
4
be?
games. There's 4 or 5 games that they have to explain. It's not just 2.
I guess
and then
I'll
the
watch that
story gets confusing. Don't worry
Can you
about
send
it.
me the link to that video?
I'll find it. I'll find it.
All right. That's it for me. Let's get into the news then. First up, we got Dark Souls Studio is working on 2 unannounced games. Dark Souls developer FromSoft has 2 unannounced games currently in development, according to the studio's president. Am I going to try and butcher this name?
Yes.
Hideka Kuzi?
Nailed it.
I tried, I'm sorry. Yeah. Speaking with 4Gamer via Gamatsu, the president teased both games are adding. The studios need a little more time before it's discussed any further. Yeah, that is all we got. I'm not gonna lie, it's a slow news week. But I did have someone here that likes Dark Souls in Crash.
And me.
You play the games.
Yeah.
Richard, do you play the games?
I do,
oh,
yeah.
Perfect.
There we go.
Okay, so I have not played a Dark Souls game at all. Never played one. I've played Bloodborne. How different is Bloodborne to Dark Souls in gameplay aspect?
I'd say they're pretty different, personally.
Okay. Yeah,
because Bloodborne's a lot more quick paced and it's a lot more reactionary. I feel like, where it's like with Dark Souls, I feel like you have to have more of a game plan when you're going into it.
Okay, interesting.
At least that's how I play it.
Yeah, it's hard because I think you watch them both and then play them. They look very, very similar.
Yeah,
and I think
they do to me.
I play Dark Souls a bit too aggressive. I died quite a lot. So for me, playing Bloodborne was like an easier transition because, as Chris says, it's a lot faster. They do have a lot of similarities, but yeah, I think it's a different pace of combat. You know, it's a stealth game like Metal Gear Solid versus something a bit more fast-paced in the shooting mechanics, you know?
Got you.
Yeah.
And is one of these unannounced games going to be Dark Souls 4, do you think?
I don't think so because they had said they wanted to take a break from Dark Souls specifically
Everyone
for a while.
says everything.
But
You can't trust nobody nowadays, let's be honest. Richard told me he wasn't playing PUBG anymore, and look at him, he's still out there grinding.
I'm not playing PUBG, I am PUBG.
There we go.
Yeah. Well, it's tough though because I had a quick look at the website, do some research really quickly.
He's a professional, guys. I didn't do that much.
Professional. But a lot of their hires actually are for concept artists, either character or environment. So which means it's pretty early on in the development. So it could be that they've got the larger team, let's say, working on this new game, whatever it is. Yeah. And then they've got the smaller team who are starting to flesh out Dark Souls 4 for a future PS5, Xbox 2, whatever it's called, launch, you know? And if those are new hires, then they're going to be less burnt out by the fact that it's Dark Souls, right? Whereas the previous team have done it a lot. So it could be that. It could be... I think you're right. I think the next game will be a new game. I think if you've done 3 of them almost back-to-back, it's a lot, right?
Yeah.
You want to create a break.
In between that, we got Shadows Die twice.
Yeah,
which we already know. So that, from what I've been reading, obviously out there on the interwebs, is Shadow Die Twice is not one of the 2 games they're talking about here. There's 2 more games in the works. Hence why I said maybe we see a Dark Souls 4. Because it would have been, I would have thought we'd get Shadow Die Twice, another game, and then maybe they're starting pre-production on Dark Souls 4, concept art and stuff like that.
It could be possible we get Bloodborne 2 and then Dark Souls 4.
A safe bet.
Yeah.
It's interesting how these type Dark Souls type games. We really wish they wasn't called that, because that seems like a weird thing to say. But it's interesting how popular they are. I know you both like them. Greedy is a huge fan of it, and plenty of people I talk to. It's strange because it has the hooks. I like the idea of learning and going back, but I just hate dying in games. I've learned that very early on, that dying in games frustrates me, and that's why. And I don't like games without traditional co-op. If there's co-op involved, it needs to be traditional for me. I learned that with Ashen. I've learned that with Bloodborne. People are like, "I'll carry you through." I'm like, "Yeah," but then in Bloodborne you have to have a lantern or something rare, and it's like only certain parts they can come. I'm like, I ain't got time for all that. If I can just push the button and send it to you, cool. If not, it's a single player game in my head. Simple as. I remember some guy invaded my game and killed me, and I lost all my... I'm like, what's going on here? Come on. This is a joke. Do you like that about the games, Richard? Do you like the non-normal co-op, I guess?
Yeah, so I mean, for Dark Souls 1, I kind of played it because it was the hype, right? Everyone was kind of talking about it, wanted to try it out. And it was different. I enjoyed it because it was different. I played it a little bit later. And then when I played Bloodborne, I played it kind of differently. I actually played it as like what I call a podcast game, where I would just sit on my couch, put a podcast on, and I would kind of grind it a little bit, almost like I was playing like an RPG. I would kind of grind enemies, get the what's it called again, Crash? Not points. It's like a souls.
The souls, isn't they?
Yeah, no, they're called bloodstains. Bloodstains.
The blood stuff, whatever it is.
It's something like that. I don't remember exactly what it is.
Blood money. And I would just chill. So I played it probably way longer than someone who's better at the game. But for me, it was a chill, put on a podcast, relax, kind of, don't worry if I die to a boss kind of game. So so I play kind of differently. It was kind of 2 hobbies at once: podcasts and games. So yeah, it was good. And the world's amazing. Like visually, it's so stunning.
Oh, it's a beautiful game. I remember last time I played it. I remember buying. I borrowed my brother-in-law's PlayStation 4 and buying the game because everyone was raving about Bloodborne.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
And I remember just like, okay, let's find out what's going on here. Everyone's talking about it. What have I missed? And clearly, I hadn't missed that much. I mean, I missed stuff, but I hadn't missed that much in my opinion. Where I was like, okay, I understand what this is. I get it, and then I understand like the cool moments is when you find a shortcut and you're like, oh, no, I don't have to run all the way around. I can just run through here, and it was like, okay, cool. But I only got to like the second boss, I think, and I was like, there's a lot of game here. Same thing happened to me with Neo.
Oh, Neo's harder actually. I thought.
Like, Neo is ridiculously hard.
I love Neo. I like that game so
harder,
much.
I thought. Yeah.
It's like I'm like I had it on PC. I was playing it on PC. Was enjoying it. I was like, and I got to that one of those bosses, just killed me. And I had like Skovax was in my chat, a friend, and he was literally talking me through like everything to do. Like he might as well play the game for me, because it was literally like, Fix, you need to do this and this and this, and I was like, Joe, what? If I need spreadsheets, I'm okay. Don't need spreadsheet, I play Football Manager. That's it. All right.
2 things. 1, they're called Blood Echoes, by the way.
Blood Echoes, thank you. That's it, Blood Echoes.
And 2, I don't think Neo was more difficult than the other Souls games. I just think it's different because it's made by a different developer. So you have to approach the fights and everything a little bit differently.
Yeah. I think though that it was, I think, more punishing to like an aggressive playstyle, because I definitely was like, I'm going to hit one more time, and this could be a mistake.
Yeah. And it always was.
Yeah, it was. Whereas I think you could cover a bit more in Bloodborne. But you're right, it was just a different style of combat, that you had to get used to.
So back to these 2 games. Do you think it is Bloodborne 2? Do you think that is safe?
I think Bloodborne 2 is safe.
Okay.
I think. But who really knows?
As an exclusive for PlayStation, or do you think it goes multi-plat?
I think it'd be an exclusive. I think Sony would secure that.
I think they own the IP, don't they?
They might do, I'm not sure.
Maybe.
I don't know my PlayStation knowledge as well as I do my Xbox, unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident they own the IP.
That would make a lot of sense.
And like they paid From Software to make it. So From Software own Dark Souls, they can go anywhere it wants, but I'm pretty confident they paid for
that would make a lot of sense. To be fair, that would make sense from the studio's point of view as well. It's like guaranteed money with a sequel.
Yeah, for sure.
Brings in money for the sequel, that's paid for, gets them to work on games like Shadows Die Twice or whatever else they want to work on. They've already, I'm sure they've got plenty of money. Dark Souls is everywhere. It's it's a little bit like Skyrim at this point.
Skyrim,
Seems like it's everywhere. It's like, oh, you want it on Switch? Here you go. I'm like, Greedy is, again, he has played it everywhere. He loves it. I'm like, dude, you mustn't be sick of this game. He's like, nah, just play it so much. I'm like,
I need more.
All right, dude. Whatever helps you sleep at night, my dude. Whatever helps you sleep at night. All right, moving on. Next one. The Hitman HD Enhanced Collection includes upgraded visuals of Hitman Blood Money, Hitman Absolution, and is coming out in January 11th. Super close in 2019. Developer IO Interactive announced the collection this morning, which will be available digitally for PS4, Xbox One. Improvements coming to both games include 4K visuals and at 60 FPS per second. Jesus, well, great writing there from me. Presumably for the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X. Again, obviously, I might copy and paste this one, I'm not going to lie to you. Increased textures, resolutions, and upgraded texture formats, super sampling, and upscale support, heightened shadow maps, and mirror resolutions, and a bunch of other nerdy shit that Richard would super love, I'm assuming, because he does game dev. But me, it's for nerds.
It's for nerds.
It's a lot of hard work for some nerds. I mean, I'm one of those nerds now because I've got a 4K telly. But anyone interested in this? Me, I'm like, give me. We just had the new Hitman. Kind of weird that you're gonna bring something out on top of that.
Maybe the new one didn't work out. No, because they had to have been working on this, you'd assume, right?
Yeah, in the background.
In some capacity, yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
It could be that like you often hear that like sequels sell more than the original. So like if people came in, bought the sequel, really enjoyed it, now here's like a reminder to go back and play the original, right? And
they're not bad games either. I remember playing Blood Money and Absolution, and I mean I didn't finish them, but I remember them being solid Hitman games, definitely. Especially Blood Money, I remember that one very fondly in my head. So
and you might find it's hard to know without knowing their pipeline, but you might find that the work to make this, actionable wasn't too crazy. I mean, it's not nothing, but it might have been as the new game that was coming out was approaching release. They had some developers who were free, who weren't fixing bugs, who weren't doing that next thing. They could work on this in the meantime while they fleshed out whatever game is next for them. So
I'm glad to have someone who knows what the hell they're talking about, because I sure as hell don't. Are you planning on getting this at all, either of you?
No.
Me either. Next up, Rockstar Games is hiring for next generation improving facial animation tools. Are we there? I mean, I'm not gonna lie, there's this story, there's the Call of Duty one that I've not added to the doc, but I will read that. Are we there now? Are we at the rumor mill now where every single job listing is going to be next gen? I've been told by developer friends that I know people that have multiple people that have PS4 Pro, PS5 dev kits. So it's like, where are we at? Is this just like, we know it's coming, right? So is it just like, okay, let's just start talking about it, expecting it? I feel like every news story that I looked up was like, okay, Rockstar's hiring for next gen. COD's in Infinity War's hiring for next gen, but with a few caveats. So, yeah, the job description goes a little something like this, which is Rockstar is looking for an experienced, passionate, technical face developer focused on animation and face motion capture to help research and develop new technology for future titles. This role involves the development of new approaches and the workflow to facial tracking, facial animation, facial recognition, improving tools / pipelines currently in place, and to manage the workflow and assets from facial pipelines. Next up, we got the job description for this, which is Rockstar Games is looking for a mocap tool developer. I'm not going to read all that out, but you get the gist of what we're doing here. And Rockstar Toronto is looking for an experienced, passionate, senior technical artist focused on animation to help research new technology for future titles. What do you think the new title will be? Let's be honest. Let's speculate for a little bit here. Obviously, we've got Red Dead DLC still to come, which is obviously part of the season pass. What is the next full-fledged Rockstar game we get, do you think?
Table tennis 2. Oh.
I mean, some people.
I like that.
Some people would love it. Like, I know we're joking, but some people would absolutely go crazy.
I'm just saying, it launched with 360. You know, there's a track record there that they have done launches with Xbox, with Microsoft. You know, if you want to test your technical face developer's skill set, you give them the best ping pong player in the world. I don't know what that is, but you give them. You can mocap the table tennis. I'm just saying, there's a lot of experience you could gain there.
I like this idea.
I'd probably buy it, so I'm not even going to sit here and poo-poo it.
Yeah, you definitely would buy it for 1,000 gamer score.
That's true, I would. No, that game was super hard for a gamer score again. That wasn't easy. Trust me. I remember. It was super fun. Super fun. It was a good game, to be fair. I'm hoping for, again, I don't think it will be, but I'm hoping for Bully 2. I think that's the one that comes to my mind of like a Rockstar game that I want them to work on again.
That'd be cool.
Right.
Do you think the world is ready for a Bully 2?
I don't think so.
Nor do I.
I think as much as people want it, like people don't really want it.
I think the hardcores want it, not everyone. I don't think it's not GTA and it's not Red Dead Redemption, is it? Let's be serious. It's not going to sell to that level. But Bully was just that fun joke around. It was sort of like to me it was like the kids version of GTA in my head, which was you're a school bully, perfect. But I also liked like the school lessons part of it. Like doing the spelling bees, and there was dissecting the frog, and that all those little, and then getting grades. And I actually cared about school for once in my life. Like it was. I really enjoyed it. And obviously I would like a teenager version of Bully. That's what I would like Bully 2 to be like.
Persona 4, got it.
No,
yeah. There we go.
Yeah, but a little bit more. I mean, I didn't play Persona 4. I've got it, but not played it yet.
I love it more bullying. You can see it. It's fine.
A little bit more. I don't know. Not even. But I'd love like a relationship stuff in there where like it's a teenage relationship, the college dorms, like that all in a game. To me, would actually be quite fun. And I think Rockstar could pull it off really well.
More Western, I guess, right? Because Persona is you can relate to it, but not really.
No, you know? Exactly. That's what more Western version of Persona 4, but in the Bully format, please.
Yeah. I'd
guess
GTA.
You guys? What would you want?
GTA.
A new LA Noire.
Okay. You would want a new LA Noire?
No, I think that's what this is for. With like the facial capture and stuff like that. Because that was the big thing with LA Noire when that first came out, was all the facial animations and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So this just like yells LA Noire to me.
Manhunt reboot? No, the world was definitely not ready for that. I
don't think so. Everywhere. Yeah,
it got banned in the UK so quick.
I don't think so. I mean, it's interesting because it is such a so few players played it, but we all heard about it, right? So like, if it did come back, it would cause a stir. I think people would buy it, but yeah, I don't know. It feels a bit further away from what they've done recently.
But in like a PC way, the world was just like, nope, this is too graphic. This is. But then again, you look at Last of Us 2, and you see a guy's neck getting chopped off, and no one sort of blinks an eye. But I remember Manhunt being like, you put a paper bag or a plastic bag over the guy's head, and kids shouldn't be playing it. It's like, no, it's an 18 game. That's why. Yes, I was a kid and playing it, but that's not the point, all right? It's just, I don't know. I'm interested to see what Rockstar work on next. I would prefer them to do Bully before they do a GTA game, if I'm honest. Especially with how let down I was. Weird to say I was let down by Red Dead, considering that it was in my top 5 for last year. But I still was let down. I was expecting that to be number 1. They need to go back and figure out what, in my opinion, what a game is. Like, a fun game.
Yeah. And
Bully's the right way to do that. It's fun, it's humorous, it's not serious like obviously Rockstar games usually are. And I think it's something different. I would love it. I don't think the facial animation team is going to be needed there too much, if I'm honest with you, for a Bully game. But yeah.
It could be possible like this tech isn't even for their upcoming game.
Exactly.
They could be well into their upcoming game. So
yeah.
Bully, we might get the next Bully fix.
Dude, I'd be so happy.
Mm-hmm. I think it has that weird time though, where like obviously we don't know when PS5 or Xbox, whatever it's called, is coming out. But it's that weird thing where are they working on something to come out at this new console launch? If that's a few years away, they take normally 5-6 years for a GTA kind of thing.
Yep.
That would put it quite a chunk into the new life cycle of a new console. So Yeah, it's tough. I mean, they're so big now as well. It could be 2 games, right? Like they're so large now. So many studios, so many people around the world that, in theory, you could be right. They could be already well into advanced stages of their next game, while also early stages of GTA or whatever it is after.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing with Bully is we've had a ton of concept art that's been leaked.
Oh really?
Before, yeah. There's concept art out there for Bully 2, or what people thought it would be. Don't know if it's real. That's totally a rumor out there.
Yeah.
But rumoured leaks, so it looks pretty real if I'm honest with you. Or someone's really good and deserves a job working on the next Bully
yeah. As an application.
But trust me. But yeah, it's an interesting one nonetheless. And next one, who's ready to buy a new console? Nope, not this one anyway. Earlier this week, Slightly Mad Studio CEO Ian Bell announced his company was developing the Mad Box, a new standalone video game console to rival the PS4 and Xbox. Bell has now revealed a few more details about the mystery platform, including how early versions of it look, which I've included an image here for you guys. Do you like it?
It's lovely.
I honestly thought this was a joke. I didn't know if this was real news. Like, I saw on Twitter, and I was like, oh, lol, those funny guys at Slightly Mad Studios. Yeah. I did not realize this was...
Maybe it is a joke. Maybe it is a joke.
I hope it is. If he comes out, like, he holds this till April, and April 1st, he's like, this was all a joke, I would laugh. That'd be funny.
I would go support his Patreon. That's what I would do in my type situation. Like, let me keep reading. The first image of the Mad Box was shared on Bell's official Twitter account. The console resembles a PC with an M-shaped tower and the Slightly Mad logo hatched into the side. The system's internal components have been blurred out in the image. However, Bell says it is still in discussion regarding that. He also notes that this is not a final design. Why even put it out there then? According to Bell, the Mad Box is... Sorry, that was me putting that in there. According to Bell, the Mad Box is very light and features a deployable carry handle, like the GameCube, oh yeah, on top, so you can easily transport it. He also says the system will talk to other Mad Boxes without cables, although he did not elaborate any further on that. Why, Richard? Why? We've got the big three. Yeah. Why?
It's crazy. I mean, what I'll say from the dev side is this team are like incredibly talented. They do bring in a lot of incredible engineering talent to their team. Like they're one of the best recruitment on the engineering side. But what's weird about them is they're all remote. Pretty much. Well, they are mad, yeah. But pretty much only a few of them work together in one studio. The rest of them are all at home, dotted around the world. So they aren't going to the office every day. They're kind of waking up from the bedroom, going to their second room like this, and then they're working from home. And that's hard enough as it is, let alone working on a console, which just seems super, super tricky. But I mean, more consumer choice isn't a terrible thing if they can get the games to support it. It's not an awful thing. It's just, is there a reason for you to buy it for whatever the cost is?
I mean, you're 100% right. You're hitting that on the head there. More choice is always better. The competition's great. I just don't see anyone taking this serious. This seems like an Ouya 2.5 type situation where it will get something, but it's not going to get everything. And the problem is, with an Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, all right, they self-publish, they've got their own games, but they are getting indies now. It's like, you know what you're getting with those platforms. With this, it just seems like a gamble of... Let's say it costs £250, so $300. No, we've got a new console coming already with we expect next year with the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Anaconda. No, where does this fit in the market? That's my problem. The Switch is my handheld, so I don't need to bring anything else with me. So I don't need a handle for this. My Xbox is my Xbox, and I've got brand loyalty there. And maybe it's not talking to me. Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe this is for little Timmy down the road. But I'm pretty sure little Timmy's mum is not going to buy him some weird, in my opinion,
Mad Box
console. When there's an Xbox Anaconda or even a lesser known or a PlayStation 5 sitting there. I just don't think it's out there. But then again, I'm the guy that said that no one would buy a Ouya, and I'm pretty sure someone bought a Ouya. So. Yeah,
someone somewhere. It's weird though, because like I'm on their website and it doesn't mention it at all. Nothing in the news section, nothing in the press section.
So maybe it's fake.
Yeah,
let's hope.
Maybe.
Let's hope.
I don't know. the only question I have is like, Soldier Boy's console didn't make it to the market. Well, the Mad Box,
Yeah,
like
that's
that's.
That's a valid
They
point.
did Soldier Boy dirty, man.
No.
They did Soldier Boy dirty.
I don't know. I don't think this console really stands a chance, especially like so close to the next gen. Like maybe if it came out earlier this gen, somewhere in the middle, it would have somewhat stood a chance. But even then, I don't know.
Yeah.
I've said it so many times that we're so late on in this generation now, where I'm like, if someone says to me, "Oh, what should I buy a PlayStation, Xbox?" I say nothing. Wait.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, wait a year or go and buy an OG VCR Xbox or an OG PS4. Like, a second-hand one. Don't buy anything brand new right now. Like, wait.
Yeah.
The next gen is coming. Yes, it will be backwards compatible. I expect both consoles to be that. But I wouldn't be like, yo, go get a Mad Box. I don't need that check, let me tell you. Influencer Fixer, no thank you. I'm not interested.
I mean, it could be the Steam box came out, right, and it failed because it was so complicated. There were so many different versions. It could be them trying to get into that market, right? Those people who want a PC, but not without all the hassle of the high-end costs, upgrading it, how does it all work? So it could be that kind of like in-between console and PC kind of thing. And if you can get your Steam library on it, it's easy to get into your TV, potentially. But I think to your point, there's so little information just now that it's who knows, right?
I mean, that's what we do here on From the Game, is we talk a bunch of crap. Yeah. I mean, that's what I do anyway. Deals of the week this week, Games with Gold. You've got January's Games with Gold. Xbox One is Celeste from January 1st to January 31st. WRC 6 World Rally Championship from January 16th to February 15th. The Xbox 360 games, you've got Lara Croft and the Guardian of Light from January 1st to January 15th. And Far Cry 2 from January 16th to January 31st. I'm going to finally play Celeste. Yay!
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I just didn't get a chance to play it. Was going to buy it just before Game of the Year talks, and then they announced this, and I was like, I'll wait. I will wait. So I'm sure I'll be able to talk about that on the podcast soon enough. PlayStation Plus games with January is Steep. How dare they put this in here? Richard, I have a bad history with Steep.
Man, Ubisoft, why'd you hate them so much?
I love
what did they do to you?
I have a
First
great
Watch
working
Dogs,
relationship with Ubisoft. Great working
Not anymore, you
relationship
don't. It's
with
over.
them. I mean, maybe. But Steep, no. When they put this game out, it was broken. So ever since then, I'm just like, no, I don't like Steep. But people tell me it actually works now, which is rather interesting.
It's important.
Go get it. It's not free. You pay for it, but it's out there. Are you a guy that says it's free, Richard? I want to know. Did you say the free games with gold? The free.
Be careful what you say here.
You
Your relationship with Fix could be changed forever.
I want to ask the audience, Chris. I do say it's free, but only because it's hear me out. Only because it's easier than being like, oh, it's not really free because you pay X amount a month. That's a lot of words, man. I want to save time. Be
part
efficient.
Of the problem.
Be efficient.
Part of the problem. Being efficient is being factual, and you are inaccurate with your description of the PlayStation Plus games, which are Steep on PS4, Portal 9 on PS4, Zone of the Enders HD Collection, which I think is PS3, Amplitude on PS3, and Fallen Legion Flames of Rebellion on PlayStation Vita/PS4, and Super Mutant Alien Assault on the PS Vita. On the Epic Game Store, you can still get Super Meat Boy available now for a limited time. Guys, that is it. Richard, let's talk about you for a second before we get out of here. What do you do for a living? You're the first game dev we got as a guest on this podcast. So what is a day-to-day look like with you? Don't worry, I'm not interviewing you, but just a little bit of detail for the people.
Sure. So I'm a development manager at a studio here in Liverpool. I've actually been here now for 5 months, so pretty fresh. Prior to this, I was at Blizzard in France, and then a bunch of independent stuff up in Scotland. Oh man, day to day, it changes so frequently. I'd say to summarize kind of efficiently for you, I've got this talented team of artists, designers, programmers, QA, and they've all got this idea to make a thing, but they're all individuals, and they do come together, but it's my job to bring them together and make sure we're moving in the direction that the vision has been set out. That can change. We can go left and right. It can change, but it's making sure that we know where we are daily, where the end goal is, and if we change something, what the impacts of that change are. And then helping out on any kind of like other tasks I can do, play testing, career progression, whatever the company kind of needs. But it's really about getting from A to B.
Very good summary. That you made it super simple.
Yeah,
so
it is.
That was I was expecting like, well, what I actually do, I sit at a desk for 10 hours, and pretty much like me, I'm like, I sit at a desk, I edit a lot, and then I get to play games for like 5 hours, but the rest of my day is edited. Sucks, but it's the life I chose. Well, congratulations on the new job. Obviously, I know you've been there a little while.
Congrats.
Pleasure. I'll get to see you again soon, I'm sure. Welcome on the podcast at any time you like. But let's plug, and get ourselves out of here. What have you got to plug this week, Richard? Twitter, Twitch, whatever it is.
You know what, I'll do 2 Twitters. Twitter for me is at Retro Crumpet, which I realise now that no Americans know what that is. But if you're British, a crumpet, you know what it is. It's fine.
It's a crumpet, yeah, you know.
Okay. Yeah, you know, the good old crumpet. Yeah, at Retro Crumpet, and then my game studio is at Fire Sprite Games. And if you do PSVR, we launched the Persistence on PSVR over the summer with Sony, so that's pretty cool.
Nice. Crash, what you got to plug?
Twitch.tv/Kreshnik.
Okay. You say it with so much passion, Crash. I just love it. It's so passionate.
You know, if I undersell it on passion when they come to the stream, you know, anything I do above that level.
I see what you set the bar low, and then everything above that when they come.
Exactly.
It's super. I got you. That makes sense.
Exactly.
That makes sense. Well, you can find me everywhere at MC Fixer, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitch, all of it. If you've got Twitch Prime, you've got Amazon Prime, link the account and give it to your boy. I'm 1 subscriber away from 60. Big goal for me. I'm not going to lie. Other than that, the big one, obviously, which is what keeps the lights on, patreon.com/mcfixer. You can get this show early, you can get my Xbox and me early, and you can get our brand new podcast, which is me and my fiance talking about life, which is Fix and Friends. Yeah, it's a new one we've just done. So that's on YouTube exclusively at the moment, not on SoundCloud and stuff like that. So if you want to go see a beautiful blonde lady, go there. She's pretty hot. I like her. Until next time, boys, thank you all for listening, and I will love you, leave you, and see you all later. Pleasure. Bye.